Welcome to Imposter Monkey, where we bring you testimonies on imposter syndrome and how to overcome it. Today, I have with me Brandon, the pain relief specialist and physical therapist. Welcome, Brandon. Thank you for being on today.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a physical therapist here in San Diego. I have my own clinic right now, running in a gym. I mostly spend time with active adults, or active individuals, I should say, kind of get them out of pain to avoid taking medications, to avoid unnecessary surgeries that the doctors want, help them relieve their pain, fix the root cause, and also make sure that it doesn't come back for good. So my whole, the significant difference between me and other clinics is I don't want to keep patients. I want to empower them to learn how to take care of their body, take care of their pain, be pain-free later on.
So important for longevity, right?
Oh yeah,
awesome.
For sure.
Cool. Well, thanks for being on today.
Of course.
While we start off, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about how you faced imposter syndrome in regards to starting your business and running your business?
Yeah, honestly, for me, I actually started getting into my business probably right after I graduated. I actually hired a business coach when I was still in my last semester of school. And then while I was studying for the board exam, I had her kind of teach me the ways of how to do sales, how to do marketing. And at first I was just kind of overwhelmed with it because I was also studying boards, but then also she was telling me a lot of stuff of hey, you need to make sure that you have to be comfortable talking about money, talking about policy, talking about time management with your current clients, and you have to learn how to market yourself as a professional as well. So I didn't feel like a professional or even a physical therapist at that time because I was just studying for the board exam, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm still starting out. So that was end of 2020 probably. I passed my boards and then I was ready to finally go all in my business, what I thought. But then in my mind I was like, oh crap, I don't have any money. And so I actually took a part-time job, or it's called per diem, for home health physical therapy, which is when you go to patients' houses. And then I took that because it's actually the most high-paid job for a physical therapist. So I took that, even though it wasn't really my niche. I was more into the older population with home health. And it wasn't really my actual calling. That wasn't what I wanted to do when I was in school, but I just did it to pay the bills because it's right after I graduated.
Yeah.
So I just kind of half-assed my business, me going full-time in my business from all 2021, all of 2020, 2021, and half of 2022. I was just kind of still balancing should I go all into my business or should I stay in a more secure job? Because from a lot of the people who start a business, especially as a cash-based physical therapist, you're kind of left to where you have to get your own clients or get your own patients. Because in a traditional physical therapy clinic, they're coming to you and they already have insurance, so it's already an easy sale. You know what I mean? It's why would they go to someone and pay out of pocket when they could use their insurance? So that's for me, that was the biggest mindset to kind of overcome, be gosh, no one's gonna come to me. But then I look back into my internships to where I was oh shit, I'm actually not giving the best care when I was working this traditional physical therapy practice.
Yeah.
Because when you're in an insurance clinic, you're kind of seeing a lot of patients, back to back, 15 minutes per patient. So
wow. That's not even that much time.
It's not that much time, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you toss them to an aide or a tech, someone who's not that qualified. So when I look back, I was okay, these people really aren't getting the best care. And then compared to where cash-based physical therapy is, you're seeing the patient for one whole hour. So then I kind of had to change my mindset and be okay, I'm giving them the best quality care. Yeah. And then these people are, even though they're paying me out of pocket, it's they're not only just coming in here just to kind of I guess go through the motions, they also want to learn about their body and all that. They're a little more committed.
Yeah. So quick question on that to bring it back. So when you were starting off at the internship and you were working with you said more elderly people, right? How did you feel personally in regards to that? Because you were still you know, in the process of learning, or like you said, you were studying
Studying for the boards. Yeah, so I was studying for boards.
So how did you feel in regards to that when you were doing like your actual work with the people?
I would say, like, I still like helping them. Like, it was still very fun. Like, we made good conversation, but I still didn't feel like I knew what I was doing, kind of. So I still had to like take continuing education. I had to seek out mentorships, join a few like masterminds, just to kind of like get that validation that like you are pretty amazing at like what you do.
Okay, that's a good segue to my next question is like, what have you done to overcome like the feeling of like, oh, you know, like I'm still new to this, or like I don't have a full grasp on everything that I'm looking to start or am doing. So like what techniques would you do to overcome like that imposter syndrome towards that?
I would say techniques. One technique I would say is I would kind of zoom out to see where I was like maybe before PT school. I was like not even a physical therapist, or I was still an undergrad, and I was like, oh crap, I'm actually helping people here. And I would even zoom out even more to where like in high school when I wanted to become a physical therapist or wanted to be like a professional to take care of a human being for their injuries. So I kind of just like always like zoom out to make sure, oh look how far you've come. Even like I don't even have to zoom out that far. I could even zoom out to like in my physical therapy program where I was like, oh shit, I'm able to actually, the stuff I was learning, like I was struggling with, I'm actually able to implement it now. And I've actually seen results. So it's like just stuff like that.
How often would you say that you do that, like zoom out? Like, is there any times that you like skip it and you're like, oh man, like you start feeling the imposter syndrome? Like, how do you make sure to go back to like, let me take a step back and then like zoom out and then like see how far I've come?
Yeah, I probably do that at least like 2 or 3 times a week, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Even right now. Yeah. But before, because I was still struggling in the middle of like whether I wanted to go full time in my business or not. Like I wouldn't do those methods at all. I had like full on imposter syndrome, which is probably one of the reasons why I stayed doing like a home health job, doing a side job instead of going and committing to my business. Like I felt like I didn't go full time in my business until actually this past January right here. So this is my first year going all in.
Yeah. Reset.
I told you that. But so, 'cause I don't do home health anymore. So like for like 2-3 years, I had like full on imposter syndrome. Just because I felt like I just didn't believe in myself to do the marketing. I didn't think people would want to work with me. But then I didn't have those techniques that, like what you said, like the zooming out. I didn't really do that much. But now I am doing it 2-3 times a week.
So how did you get to like, how is it now? So I know that's quite still recent, right? That you just went full send on it.
Yeah.
So what have you done to improve? Like you just said marketing, and what else did you say? Like getting clients?
Getting clients, like the marketing, sales.
Sales, like how have you improved on it or worked towards that? Because I know you said you didn't feel too strong there.
Yeah, I would say like honestly, it's like kind of surrounding yourself with like people who are like having the same mindset as you, because that's like a big thing. Because I surround myself with more people who are like just like working 9 to 5, which is, there's nothing bad at all with that, but it's like you want to surround yourself with people that are trying to get to the same goal as you. So I actually joined like some kind of like mastermind group and a mentorship group for physical therapists only. And I actually reached out to a lot of small business owners in San Diego, even in Southern California, who are physical therapists, like working on their own business as well. So I did that, and then I always just kept asking them advice, like, what do I have to do? Or there's this problem here. So just kind of like being in contact with them through Instagram DMs, like voice messages or iMessage, and just like getting that validation from those people, because those people are a little more successful than me, and they're like at that level where I want to get to. So having them like be like, I literally talk to them like almost every day on my phone. So it's like good to keep that, because all of us, we're all on our phone like 24/7, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time I check my messages, it's that group chat. So I'm like, oh shit, okay, so what did I say again? Oh yeah, crap, I have to get on this. So it's like I give them a goal and then they keep me accountable for it. So pretty much setting your environment up to where you're able to like thrive and succeed, to get you to the goal you want to be. That's what I feel like helped me out the most.
That's awesome, because I like what you're saying, because not only is it like accountability, because a lot of people just give you accountability, right? But because they're in the industry, it kind of strengthens, like you said, your internal voice to be like, oh, I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
They're keeping me accountable. They're also in the industry. So if they're like, hey, like, good job, or like, you did this, or they're helping you out, it's like, okay, that solidifies who you are, right?
Exactly.
And like what you're doing. So that's really cool to see. Is there anything else that you could think of that you would say helps you out or has helped you out in the last, I guess, let's say if we keep it in the last 4 months?
Last 4 months, honestly. Yeah. So I would say, honestly, like, just like keeping track of like the habits that you do. I would say a big thing is I would never, I give myself like a limited time. Like I never take work home, usually on weekdays. So like ever since I got this office here, which was like last fall or winter, I didn't really take advantage of it as much because I would still bring work home. Like I'd still program, I'd still create content. But now I kind of just like make sure that when I'm here to work and kind of just like do what I need to get done. And then it gives me like a shorter time range, and that means I gotta be more efficient with my time. You know what I mean? So I feel like that has helped me out the most to get over it, because at first I thought that I was the worst like person at like time at managing my time, because what I learned from like these past few months is like being a full-time business owner, you're not only just like a business owner, you're the physical therapist. For me, you're the marketing director. You're the person who like reaches out to other
sales,
sales.
Yeah.
You're HR.
Yeah.
You're the administrator. You're scheduling for patients. You keep contacting with patients. So I was like, oh shit, am I really all these people? That was like the big imposter syndrome for me. Like earlier this year, like, wow, I'm really all these people that have to like reach out, because marketing for me is I have to reach out to small gyms here and kind of table there, like either do injury screenings, do a meet the doc event, which is where they just come in and just tell me about their injury, 20-minute sessions. And then I just didn't feel comfortable asking, because I was like, what? I don't think I have that much to offer for them, you know what I mean? Especially being in San Diego. San Diego is such like a big cash-based physical therapy area where it's super saturated. Like there's probably 20 other PTs who are like the same as me, non-insurance, and they're all over San Diego. So that's why that kind of limited, that was like a big limiting belief to me, where I was like, oh crap, I'm pretty sure all these gyms have other physical therapists to go to. But then I realized like it doesn't really hurt to just reach out, you know what I mean? Like it's not like the worst they could do is like, say no.
Exactly. You know, something really important with what you just said right now is like, oh, like you still reached out, right? Although you kind of had that doubt. And I've had something similar like that before when I used to apply for jobs starting my career, like in software. And it was like, oh man, like, maybe I'm not good enough, or, they're gonna pass up my resume.
Yeah.
But then it's also, there's another side to it. It's like, you don't know how many other people are in the same position as you. And they're thinking like, you know what, maybe, I don't know if I should reach out, right? And they're questioning it. And let's say, there's 20, and out of those 20, 10 question and 10 actually take action, and you're part of like the 10 that take action, right?
Yeah.
You have more of a probability of getting that business versus like not even trying. Because like you said, worst case or worst thing that could happen is like, oh, you get a no, but you tried. But then there's a possibility that you get a yes, or maybe not a yes right now, but a yes later, So like, I think that's like really cool that like you're still going for it, although there's still, I feel like there's still like a little voice sometimes that's like maybe not, but it's screw it, just do it.
It's like I noticed that, like, because I've been reading a lot of like those personal development books, there's always a voice that's gonna give you that doubt, because I guess back in the day we wanted that doubt because it's trying to protect us. If we were to go out from like our village or whatever to go get food, we want that doubt to be like, there might be a lion that might eat you, or there might be like a gorilla that's gonna eat you or something, or beat you up. You know what I mean?
Stuff that we bring back from way back ancestors.
So I realized that like right now, that doubt is fine, but you kind of have to kind of I don't want to say get over it, but pretty much acknowledge it and move, and just think that something better is there waiting if you kind of just go past those doubts. Which is actually, I actually do have another technique that I did do like back like in January that I forgot I did. So I did this when I even committed to doing full time. It was actually on the 4-Hour Workweek book.
Oh, okay, nice. I love that book.
Yeah, it's like something about like dreamlining, where you pretty much want to write out what's the worst case scenario if you make this situation.
Got chills when you're saying
exactly.
that.
So what's the worst case scenario if you go full time in your business? What's the worst case scenario if you stop doing home health, my side job, and just like make sure that all the funds come from your business? You know what I mean? So I wrote it down. My worst case scenario is pretty much I fail my business and I go back to doing home health. And then I was like, wait, that's it? Why would I be scared of that? You know what I mean? Or like, but I guess I dug in a little more, and it's like, because I've been telling people like, oh, I'm a business owner, I'm gonna start my own business. But then the worst case scenario would be me having to live with like, oh, I could have started my own business, whatever, and just like and I would have to kind of accept it that I was a failed business owner, which is actually not that bad, because I'll still be financially well, I'll still have a good social life. I'm pretty sure like my friends and family, they won't really care. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh, you're not a business owner, we're not gonna be friends anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just like kind of being, like knowing what the worst case scenario is, and you have to be at peace with that. You know what I mean? Like you have to accept it whether or not.
Yeah, and no matter what, like even after that, whether it does end or whatever comes out of it, you still gain that experience that you wouldn't have gained, so no matter what, you're winning. And it's really interesting that you're talking about that book, because I always talk to people and it's like, oh, like, I don't know if I want to try this, or like I have like friends that'll be like, oh, I want to post more like on social media or anything like that, and they think about it too much, or like, oh, I want to change careers, or I want to get into this other thing, and it's like, but I'm like afraid, or like, they're somehow doubting themselves, like paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, exactly.
But then exactly what you said is something that I'll suggest. I'll be like, hey, why don't you like write, what is the worst case scenario that could happen? Exactly like you said it. And if it's really not that bad and you're okay with it, you got nothing to lose. Like most recently for me, you saw I moved to the Bay Area, and like I had been wanting to do that for the longest. I'm like, oh, people are like, why are you gonna go over there? It's expensive. What are you gonna do over there? I'm like, I've always wanted to. Yeah. And to see if there's any opportunity, right? Because there's a lot of tech over there or whatever. And I'm like, what is the worst case scenario that happens for me? It was like, oh, okay, like I, maybe pay a higher rent, and like I explore, and like nothing really comes out of it but just exploration. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? At least I did it. And then in the future, I can't be like, oh, I really wanted to go to Bay Area and I never did it. So like it gets out of my system, be like, at least I did it. I've had a failed business where I'm like, I want to try it. I did it. It failed, but now I'm like, I learned so much, and it's like, at least I tried. Worst case scenario is I spent money, I learned things, but like I grew as an individual. So like that's really cool I'm glad you remember the 4-hour work
right
week.
Yeah, and it's good to like have that awareness, because some people think like they're gonna like go bankrupt, or like they're gonna be like like struggling, or like homeless. I'm like, I don't think it will be if like you're trying, or if you're thinking about that, if you're at that stage of your life trying to make that change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess the next question I would want to ask you is, from all these for lack of a better word, techniques that you've implemented in regards to imposter syndrome and overcoming it, how has your business, and I want to say also life, been different because of those techniques? Like, right, you said zooming out and like taking a look at being around people in a similar mindset, like the mastermind group, and seeing like worst case scenariо, stuff like that. So how has your life been different? Has it been for the better, or like,
I would say definitely. I feel like I can take I feel like it's crazy how much like your mind can take you to like change like what your lifestyle to do, depending on your beliefs. You know what I mean? So like, because I had the limiting belief of like, oh, I'm a bad time manager. I'm not, or like my limiting belief of I'm not a business owner. But then I actually started to believe like, oh, maybe I am, the more I do these things. So it actually made me have more like appreciation for the people in my life to like be with me when they like actually see me. I always give them like gratitude. Pretty much like I show more gratitude to people, like, oh, thanks for being here, because I appreciate time a little more. Because now I notice like how precious time is. So I feel like I'm more grateful now. I'm not just like always walking around in the grocery store looking like I hate my life anymore. Even for like strangers, I'll be like, oh, hey, hello.
Yeah,
all
that's
that
awesome.
Stuff. So I feel like I'm more grateful in life now, and also I feel like I have a better work-life balance actually, because before it used to mess with my head when like if I wasn't able to do something for my business, I would always be in my head like, oh shit, I should have done so and so, and then it would affect me when I would like go into like a family party or like hang out with my girlfriend. But now I'm like at peace with, okay, this happened, but now I see it as a learning experience type of thing. So I see everything that usually pisses me off in my business, like I see it as like a learning experience now, ever since I've been implementing those techniques.
So not only has your business improved a whole lot, it's transferred into your like everyday life and your social life and everything.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
what I feel like has happened, because I'm a little more grateful, because I'm able to zoom out and be like, oh shit, I was here. So even like when I have like student physical therapists ask me like, oh, how do you feel about starting a business right after grad school? I actually like help them out. I give them the right resources, like, hey, I joined this mastermind. Hey, I actually put my prices like this. I actually rented a gym in this location, stuff like that.
So now you're able to pass that knowledge and that like those testimonies
Yeah.
right into other people
yeah.
who were where you were at, right?
Yeah,
So that's like you're kind of passing the mentorship to other people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because there are like a lot of people who like ask me about like business advice, or people ask me like, how do you feel about like starting your own business, like what I said? And then they're always like iffy about it. They're like me. They're still doing like a part-time job on the side and still picking up private clients, but they don't want to go all in. So it's like I've been there before, honestly. Like,
And look at you now.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we're in your office. You know,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Really cool. So, what last words would you give the viewers in regards to overcoming imposter syndrome? Your final words that you would say.
I would say just go for it. Don't go for imposter syndrome. I was like, go for what you want to do, because like my biggest like fear in life is it's like being on a deathbed and be like, oh shit, I should have done this. I should have started my business. I should have taken that leap and moved to San Francisco. I should have traveled the world like what I wanted to for 80 days and started my business in like Nicaragua or Spain or something. Yeah, I know some people like that where they're like, they just want to like quit their job and move on to a different career, because you don't want to like be 80 years old and have that regret. Yep.
So basically, just go for it.
Oh yeah, full send. Full send.
Full send to have no regrets.
Exactly,
No
yep.
regrets. Awesome. Well, where can they find you, and if they're looking to be pain-free or connect with you or learn more about starting your own business? You know, where can they find you? Social media? Or?
Yeah. So you can go to my website, pasqualeperformance.com, and then also my Instagram is @pasqualeperformance. I'm in San Diego, the Bay Park area. Definitely check me out. You can hit me up through the website. I have a link right there. If you want to send me an email, tell me what's going on, and we can get you going back to being pain-free.
Awesome. And then just to kind of add on, do you also do like online work and stuff?
Oh yeah,
like
I
that?
do like hybrid online work. So I'll make programs. I'll do like a virtual assessment online as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to be in San Diego.
Exactly. If you're in San Francisco
Awesome.
like him.
Yeah,
you know?
there you go. So I'll put all the stuff in the description as well. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all the wise words. I love that you brought up the 4-hour work week, because I can really relate to that. Awesome. Yeah. Great. And thank you all for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this to anybody that would find value with what testimonies we brought to you. Thanks for watching.